48 slides were submitted for the slide section of the competition. Most of these were 41 by 101 images. Now a commended image for Neville Jackson, looking up. Another commended image, but this time for Jeff Parker. Not a bad view, that. There were 2 images on Westernbert submitted by Fred Lowe, and this is the first, and it was a commended image. The sunset scene was Washington Sunset by John Taylor, and was a commended image. Another commended image, this time for Neville Jackson, and he calls it Pipes. This completes the 41 by 101 submissions of slides, and we come on to the 50 by 50. And now another commended image, Blue Bay, and this is by Hugh Willman, and it was taken from the breakfast balcony of their accommodation in Thasos Island in Greece. And now we come on to the winners of this part of the competition. And the first 2 are honourable mentions, both for Jeff Parker. The first of his pictures he's called New England in the Fall. And secondly, Biking the Croatian Coast. As runner-up, Ray Macmillan provided Close Encounter, and Ray says, fortunately this was a static display down on terra firma. The overall winner of the slide competition was Jeff Parker with A Quick Stop for Gasoline. Ten people entered the print section, and 33 prints were submitted. The first of these is by Barry Aldous with Bee's Knees. It's taken with a W3 Fuji with a cyclopetal attachment. This was a commended image. The next 2 prints both were commended images. Indoor Market at Oxford was by Anne Seth, and all her images have been taken on a Fuji W1 and processed through Photoshop and Stereo Photomaker. The Collector of the Tower is by Bill Cannon. Bill says, this is an installation in the White Tower of the Tower of London. And now a commended image, this time for Brian Davis, and he's called it Staircase to the Chapter House, Wells Cathedral. And now another commended image, Gold Rush by Barry Aldous. And now we come to the winners of the print section. And the first of these was by Brian Davis. It was submitted as a View Magic image and shows the choir at Wells Cathedral. As the runner-up, Barry Aldous shows us Pollen Count. This was a side-by-side image, and Barry says it was taken with a W3 with a cyclopetal attachment and a 3 diopter lens. But the overall winner was another View Magic image, this time by David Robinson, and he's called it Concentration. A 190 images were submitted for the digital section of the competition, and the first of these is by Gordon Still. It's an alpine hornblower and was taken on Mount Pilatus in Switzerland. And now a commended image, this one by Ray Macmillan, and it's called Behind You, and it shows Ray's 2 grandchildren playing with a bubble machine in their garden. And Tony Ford gives us Morning Dew. This is also a commended image. And now a commended image, this time for Paul Feynman, and it's Snakes at Jaipur. Another commended image, and a very striking commended image, by Timo Niminen, and he's called it Bianca. And now a commended image, this time by Andrew Bloxham, and it's the Penryn Castle Grand Staircase. And now two commended images. The first of these is by Nikolai Bazov, and he's called it Whitley Bay Kite Festival. A delightful scene of Cat Bells by Phil Palmer. Cat Bells is overlooking Derwent Water and the town of Keswick in the Lake District, and looks towards Ben Caffra. And now a commended image, Winter Crystals by David Ford. We now come to the winners of the digital section, and because of the large number of digital entries, there are 6 honourable mentions. And the first of these goes to Nikolai Bazov for his In the Space of Emotions. Another honourable mention goes to Bill Cannon for Drums. Fancy Dresses is by John Ralph. Three more honourable mentions, the first being The Wootton River's Green Man by Anthony James, and then Street Band Bangalore, India by Paul Feynman, and Mike Hilliard's Emerald Lake Tranquility, which Mike says, this wonderful lake with its mountain reflections is situated in British Columbia's Yoho National Park. We now come to the top 5 images, and the first of these goes to Jeff Ogram for his image Ancient Culture Meets New Technology, and he explains. 2 Maiko were taken from a distance of about 20 yards or so, and they were seen in his picture full length. But when Jeff cropped this, he discovered what they were up to. In 4th place is Girish Patel with The New Couple. And 3rd is Phil Palmer with Tallinn Cruise Ships, and he says, we docked in a sea mist that quickly burnt off into a simply glorious day. In 2nd place, by David Ford, is Trying to Impress the Birds. But our very top image is by Ray Macmillan and is called Reflections. We had 3 entries for Life Today. This is the part of the competition where somebody can enter up to 4 images. The overall winner of Life Today was Bob Aldridge with his images of Shard. The first is the Shard exterior, rising majestically above the historic buildings in the area of London's original Thames crossing. The Shard is Europe's tallest building. Picture 2 shows the Shard telescope. There are 2 public viewing floors. On the lower, visitors are provided with high-tech digital telescopes that automatically identify the landmarks in their view. Picture 3 is the Shard shadow. Although largely built of glass, the Shard still casts a long shadow over the City of London. From up here at 800 feet above London, even the Tower of London looks small. And finally, the Shard from a helicopter. But it's worth remembering that at 1016 feet high, the Shard is poking its top into the domain of air transport. A sobering thought as we fly virtually level with its top, especially with the horrific helicopter crash in January 2013. We had 9 entries for the photojournalism section of the competition. We now come to the winner of the photojournalism section, and this is by John Ralph, and it shows the torch near Land's End. The first picture shows this torch near Land's End. Two, the torch bearer waving at crowds. Then, passing over the flame from one torch to another. And finally, both torch bearers with their lighted torches.